At this stage, I would like to introduce our next speaker coming from our major sponsor. At PV EzTracker, their heritage is founded on the art of engineering and culture of collaboration. They built their legacy with a future focus that still stays true to the fundamentals of a sustainable design. They have built a collaborative culture among stakeholders from across their industry, which is critical for them to deliver on their mission. And they offer the solar industry versatile mounting equipment for every application. PV EzTracker is the flagship product line from Clenergy, which has been designing products since 2007 and has grown into a global solar industry icon with its products sold across 30 countries. They've developed for optimal functionality with an emphasis on simplicity for aesthetically brilliant projects. And their technically advanced solar mounting gears are complemented by unique clip lock clamps and accessories, as well as their unparalleled logistics and operations team with an emphasis on customer service. Clenergy is a veteran manufacturer with startup roots in Melbourne, Australia. They have earned a solid reputation throughout the nation and across Asia Pacific because of a proven track record of success. They bring their expertise to the table to provide your company and engineers with creative insights and attention to detail. Let's all watch their quick advertisement for more information.
If you look at our manufacturing partners, I think, such as Clenergy, of course, you can see that we always align ourselves with high quality bankable solutions, which I think is the starting point for a good quality asset.
So how do you see your partnership with Clenergy, for example?
Yeah, I mean, we've had fantastic results. So we've used Clenergy for a long time in many projects globally, from residential to commercial to utility scale, and we've always had fantastic results in terms of the quality, in terms of the warranty, in terms of the performance. So I think obviously that's the first key point. I mean, we also like to align ourselves with manufacturers who have similar values to us as a company, and we feel like Clenergy are similar in their values. So that's really important for us. So yeah, look, high quality, similar values, and we know we like to build strategic relationships and built on long term, built on longevity. So yeah, we're very happy with how things are going and progressing.
Okay, so our next speaker is the Global Marketing Manager of Clenergy. He facilitates the business in thinking, acting, and communicating from the inside. He looks after brand strategy, communications, and social media. He worked in the renewables energy for over 10 years, and prior to that, in the FMCG, tourism, and education sectors. He also has worked and traveled across Asia, Europe, South America, and the Middle East, and he has an MBA from the University of West Australia and Masters in the Marketing from Edith Cowan University. Let's all welcome Mr. Samir Jacob.
Thank you, Ian. Really appreciate you guys for throwing on this event for us. And it's really good to be amongst my peers after a long time, with COVID and everything. It's good to be alongside other manufacturers presenting to the audience. And it's truly exciting when I see numbers like, 270, 280 people watching this particular webinar, which I think even if we were at a live event in a conference room, we wouldn't have these kind of numbers. So it's amazing. It's amazing to be here live from Melbourne. So thank you very much for having us. And can't wait to get on to the presentation.
Awesome.
Alrighty, so I'll just share my screen there. Okay, can you see it there?
Yeah, if you could just go on full screen mode.
There you go. How's that?
Good.
Cool. Alrighty. So first off, thank you everyone for having us. My name is Samir Jacob. I look after global marketing for Clenergy, let's get into it. And with the video, the person that we were interviewing there was Robert Forrest. He's from the company Proenzo with their Asia Pacific office, which actually happened to win a couple of awards in the Philippines. So I thought it'd be apt to put that here. And, he is one amongst many within the APAC region who have partnered and worked with us and have achieved, great heights with their renewable energy installations. So quick little, let me tell you about Clenergy, born in 2007. The founders of our business, all from the tech, IBM, NEC, telecommunications space. And it's our vision to be a top-class pioneering technology enterprise, leading towards a global sustainable future. With today's presentation, I'll take you through a bit of the company profile, give you more details on specifically our solar division and their product line and services. And I'll show you a bit on what we do with environmental social governance, so where we give back to the community. Actually, I want to make a point where I've, with some of the other manufacturers who have presented before me, it's really good to see that a lot of them are following the same kind of narrative, which is, we are all big conglomerates doing, great things renewables, but also giving back to the community is definitely important. So it's really good for me to see that other manufacturers are following suit. So I'll go through our mission and values, who we are as a company, where we are globally, some of our milestones. With this presentation, I'll specifically go through EzTracker, which is our solar industry product, and through some of our global partners. So our mission at the end of the day is to be a technology enabler for governments, public sector enterprises. And how we do that is by reinventing our approach through our technology and service to reach this mission. We are publicly listed since 2017. We have manufacturing facilities in Australia, China, and Indonesia. Over 12 gigawatts of worldwide installations. Number one for a very, very long time in Australia. Top 5 in China, 66 patents. I could go on. Across APAC, we do have our engineering services as well, engineering teams that provide EPC services, PPA services as well, and contract manufacturing. With about a few gross assets there, about 350 million worth of stock and worth of our factories. Where are we globally? We've got almost 2 head offices based out of Melbourne, Australia, and 1 in Xiamen, China. And then we've got 2 other larger offices in Bangkok, Yokohama, Japan, and in Hamburg. The little black dots are basically our distribution hubs. So you can see that we have that the Asia Pacific region is quite well serviced. With our teams, I just wanted to give you a quick little snapshot of our teams there. This is our team based in Australia, where we do a lot of distribution and provide engineering services. With our team based in China, that's them at the SNEC Expo, probably one of the only expos that actually happened last year. And you can see them at our booth showing some of our tracker systems and ground mount systems. Also, our Japanese team based out of Yokohama, and predominantly within that region, it's always been ground mount systems, which is happening to be most popular when it comes to utility scale. And also for the Philippines, I want to introduce, he's also here as one of the panelists, so he'll be available for questions. Rafael Mendoza is one of our great assets. He's based out of the Philippines, and whenever if you or your company has got any technical questions or want to understand what would my bill of materials end up to be for a particular site, or to understand how to match up the right panels to the right roof interfaces, he's your man on the ground. Yeah. Take you through a bit of our research endeavors and accreditations. So we are an internationally certified laboratory with cutting edge equipment. Our R&D team uses regional intel and technological advancements for the industry. Specifically, I think one of the big key differences with most other manufacturers coming to, let's say, a solar mounting manufacturer, our biggest key intel is from the actual installers on the roof, the people who actually are fastening our systems to the roof interfaces or to the soil conditions, and understanding the wind loads of that particular area. So it's their input which actually progresses our products forward. In terms of our certifications, Dun & Bradstreet, which is a global credit assessor, have deemed us as a 5A1, which is basically the number 5 means a company net worth over 50 million, and A1 is it's the number 1 composite credit appraisal. So basically with the highest credit rating. We have our certificates in OHSAS 1801. Electric testing labs for safer work in living environments, and also our ISO 9001 and ISO 14001. We also have TÜV Rheinland, quality indicator for mounting systems and factory inspections. So without further ado, let me quickly jump into our product lines, which is apt for this audience, our EzRack, which is built to last. So within this particular sub-brand, we've got 3 main categories that I wanted to show, 4 main categories I want to show to you today. One is our SolarRoof, which is predominantly, as the name sounds, for all rooftop installations. SolarTerrace, which is predominantly a ground mount gear, and then EzTracker, which is our tracking systems. And we also have ground structures, which is our EzShade series for carports and post mounts as well. Now, from my understanding, in the Philippines regions, post mounts probably aren't the most applicable because of it's a single post and you've got a very high wind region. But I just wanted to put it on that we have that capacity. So coming to solar roofs, whether you're looking at tin roofs, tile roofs, flat roofs, we've got solutions for that entire series, whether it's penetrative or non-penetrative. With, for example, even with tile roofs, there's about 7 to 8 different types of tile brackets, depending on the different type of tiles that particular residential unit is using. And when it comes to flat roofs, whether you want to go complete flush to the flat roof there, or whether you wanted to go to a tilting system, that's also available. So on the far left, we've got adjustable tilts. In the middle, you've got tripods, which is quite popular as it's a pre-assembled system. So it's pretty much ready to go, and they can go onto tin roofs, but I believe in the Philippines, it's the most popular is on concrete roofs. Our other concrete roof solution is also happens to be our ballast system, which is called Ascent, which is on the image on the far right. Predominantly with the solar mounting gear, it's really down to how our systems work with the various roof profiles. So I mean, here's a few examples of clip lock clamps, or in the middle are universal clip lock clamp, which pretty much fastens to I'd say more than 20 or maybe 25 different types of roof interfaces. And then on the far right, you've got our L-foot. I'll also give you a few more examples of popular clamps that's used within the various profiles in the Philippines. We've got, from the angularities to the standing seams to even the roof hooks available to the Philippines audience. when it comes to ground mounts, whether you're going for a SolarTerrace 2, which is a single post, or a SolarTerrace 3, which has 2 posts, these both are fairly standardized products, which you can literally buy off the shelf. We also have our SolarTerrace 5, which is it's available. However, you would need to work with our engineering team because it's a fairly customized solution. And one more thing I want to mention when it comes to ground mounts, it's not solar mounting. When people look at this particular part of the solar package, it might appear to be simple. However, it's a fairly complex in terms of how you choose the right solution for the right job, because there are so many factors when it comes to soil quality, the water ingress on that soil, and how water erodes over the soil conditions. Second is wind factor, and then it's the wind load and also the panel load, and then the panel thickness. So there's a fair amount of complexity when it comes to this. So it's always best to work with engineers at Clenergy to advise you on the best solution. When it comes to tracking systems, I don't believe this is very popular in the Philippines, again, because of the strong wind conditions that you have there. However, it's part of our portfolio, letting you know that we do have a single panel portrait, which is D1P, or we have dual panel, which is what in portrait, 2 panels on top of each other. And we also have our D2B Pro, which is a specialized EzTracker system, which has an extra a software algorithm built into the motorized system there to improve on the geo-targeting and geotopographical to match the sun's movement. Lastly, when it comes to ground structures, we've got our carports there. What was interesting when I was watching on the other previous presentations, there was a lot of installations that were very familiar because, Clenergy, we've happened to have worked with all of the big brands that you've seen so far in the last 2 days. Pretty much all of them are, we're co-partners to the same project. So if you're looking at ground structures, we've got our EasyShade 2.0, which is it comes as a single bay or even a double bay carport, and it comes in silver and in black. In the middle, you've got EasyShade Razor, and the difference with this one is it's a single post. So basically, when you open your doors, there are no side posts. So in some circumstances, that's what's the preference. That's actually one of our most latest installations in Japan at one of the Tesla supercharger locations. And that one comes in full black as well. That is a fully engineered product, though. So again, it's something that you would have to speak with the engineers to basically design the system for you. The EasyShade Razor also comes in another variant, which is Razor Wings, which is basically the system where it's back to back and can be installed side by side. Cool. I'll show you some of our global installations. Here we have Adelaide Airport, which is a roof mount system. We are one of the most popular brands in Australia with almost 60% market share. Over there, we have installation at the Parliament House and one of the most iconic rooftops in Sydney, I think on the 44th floor there. That's a 63 megawatt in Germany on a ground mount system, and another 40 megawatt system in Japan that was just recently commissioned, I think about a year and a half ago. We're all also in the States with rooftop systems there. Let me show you some more in Asia Pacific. So you can see we've got some installations there in the Philippines of 4.77 in Batangas, and then you got there in Vietnam and also in Thailand. Show you a few more in the Philippines. We do a fair amount of ground mount systems in the Philippines, but with the rooftop sector is actually now a high growth area for us with a lot of local installation companies who are attacking that commercial space. Some of our partners in the Asia Pacific, some of the brands that you see here, that you might be familiar with, who are our partners there locally in the Philippines and across Singapore, Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia, and some of our distributors there as well. So when it comes to environmental social governance, this is something that's very, very important to Clenergy and our brand. When it comes to our own looking at ourselves, this is it's a drone shot of our manufacturing facility in China, in Xiamen, China, and as you can see, our roofs are filled with solar panels that help reduce our carbon footprint at our facilities. In terms of employees, it's honestly one of the best places to work at. We always promote positivity, diversity, and inclusiveness. It's something that's it's always championed across all of our offices globally, and something that we definitely all care about, to look after our employees. If you look after employees, your employees will look after your clients. When it comes to our social responsibility, the It's Time Foundation, which you see on the right there, they install ground mount systems across the Pacific Islands for a lot of underprivileged schools, and basically providing them 24/7 power. We've partnered with them for the last 11 years, providing them ground mount systems so that almost 25 schools today have free electricity across those remote islands in the Pacific. What we have here is the Bridgestone World Solar Challenge, which goes from from Darwin to Adelaide. I think that race is every 2 to 3 years. And we look after some of the university teams that participate in this particular challenge, whether it's the team in Australia on the far left, or the team from Japan in the middle, or the team from Malaysia on the right. These are all places where we happen to have our offices or a lot of our colleagues. And we definitely want to promote not only education, but specifically solar education and the electrification of transportation through renewable sources. When it comes to all of our partners and working with our clients, we are heavy when it comes to social media. We're doing podcasts and panel discussions. So whenever people partner with us, we make sure to not only showcase them, but to talk about recent projects and testimonials, and elevate their industry awards and interviews, so that basically as an industry we become more visible to the larger public. If you are looking to buy Clenergy gear, jump onto Clenergy.com. On the second menu, you'll see a distributors button there. Give that a click. And then on the country bar, which is on the left-hand side highlighted, you can click on the various countries. For the Philippines, our partner there is JJ Lap. Do give them a call, and they'll be able to service your requirements there, whether it's for roof mount or ground mount gear. If you want to know more about what's happening with Clenergy, jump on and register with our newsletter. Almost every month, every fortnight, you get news with all of our recent updates. And anything you want to know, if you want to keep a pulse on what's happening with us, literally almost every second day or third day, we are putting things up all across our social channels. And you can see and share things. When it comes to the last link there, which is the learning group, there's about, let's say, 450 installation companies globally who are attached to that group. And they share all of their stories of how they interact with our gear. So it's a good little learning group within the installer engineer space. And that's it from myself. Thank you so much for your time here, guys. Let's jump into some questions if there are any.
Thank you very much for the awesome presentation. That was very detailed and straight to the point. Now we have a better idea of the products and offerings that Clenergy has available for the market. A couple of questions from our audience, coming from an anonymous attendee. Are you integrated in the BIPV? This is a building integrated PVs, right? Do you have mountings for this kinds of setups?
Yep. Actually, Rafael, our technical sales specialist, he's here now. Rafael, would you like to take that question for us?
Yeah. Hello. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to all of attendees. And I'm Rafael Mendoza. I'm the local technical support here in the Philippines. For that questions in general, yes, we have several options for the BIPV, especially for the rooftop. However, there are some BIPV requirement that, probably on the windows, on the canopies. So on that type of requirement, so we haven't yet, we don't have any product for that. But for mainly for rooftop, as that will serve as technically the roof, they want to have the PV to serve as the roof, then we have a possible solution on that. Yeah.
Awesome. And with the panels you recommend for the Philippines, what is the maximum wind speed these panels can safely handle?
In general, I think for the maximum wind speed that the panel can handle, I think it was indicated in the installation guide of the PV module installation. So I think it was not merely on a wind speed, but it's more of a kilopascal. However, in general, like I've mentioned, the PV that you can install in other countries like Vietnam or Thailand, which have a lower wind speed requirement, you can also use that to install in the Philippines. However, the design for the mounting system will be quite different. So like Samir mentioned initially, that us on Clenergy, we are very, very keen on the design that, especially support the local standards. So what we do is design the mounting system based on our standards here in the Philippines, and we make sure that it would last, more than 25 years as needed.
And actually, if I could add on to that answer there, Rafael, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it's not about the panels. It's really more about that particular region, that particular area, what the height is, and do you need, 2 rails? Do you need 4 rails? Do you need to increase the spacing of more clamps because of the wind region is higher or lower? So, your geo spot and the height at where you want to install, that factors into your end of day, what your bill of materials will be.
That is correct. So as we all know right now, the PV size is getting bigger and bigger, right? So we could not just stick to typically the 2 rails mounting system. So it's not how it works. So from previously we are using 1.6 by 1, then we are using already the 2 rail system. Then maybe if we go for a bigger PV, let's say 2.3 by 1.3, then we possibly need to use 3 rail system. So that's in general how we design the mounting systems, based on calculations and design standards.
Yeah.
Awesome. And couple of questions here also. What is the warranty on EzTracker product line?
So in general, our warranty is 12 years warranty, but the service life of our mounting structure will last for 25 years.
Okay. Oh, that's a long time.
Yes. I mean, we should. I mean, the PV should, the mounting system should, because I think most of the contracts, especially for big projects, are, I think 25 years. So it's better for, us, the PV, and I think everything would, probably last that long.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. And another follow-up question would be, what is the current lead time to the Philippines?
Lead time for a typical rooftop, we can do around 3 to 4 weeks. For ground mount, usually it's around 4 to 5 weeks. However, like Samir mentioned, we have a local distributor here in the Philippines. So if they have any urgent request for the mounting system, they can contact JJ Lap. And I think JJ Lap will be very, very happy to support them.
Okay. And JJ Lap would also be aware, not really aware, or rather amenable with the pricing structure?
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. So
that's very good to hear. Yeah.
yeah, and just to add on that, I mean, see, with the pricing structure, it is on a case-by-case basis, because even though people from the onset, the perspective is that, racking is quite simple. I just choose that because it fits my panels. That's not the case. It's really the wind region, it is the soil conditions, it is how does water, when there rains, how does water get move away from the system once the rain is gone? Is a flood-prone area, etc. So all those parameters go into the pricing kind of formula. So it's best to always speak to the distributor or people like Rafael on the ground, and then they'll be able to give you, an exact customized quote.
Okay, well, that's great news coming from the developers and the contractors that are watching us right now. One question from engineer Amy Untalan. She is this is a live question. Where in Batangas did your company Clenergy install the PV solar panels and its capacity in megawatts?
To be honest, we have a lot of installation in Batangas. If I remember it correctly, there is in Lima, Batangas. There's also in FPIP. For the total capacity, to be honest, I could not, give you the total, but probably megawatt sizes. Especially on those type of areas that they have a very, very huge roof. So most likely megawatt sizes.
Okay, I think we still
there's a lot, yeah. So it's kind hard to identify all of it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, if available, you can send a direct message in private to Engineer Amy. You can view the question on the Q&A box, maybe take it from there. And the last question, guys, does your warranty include damages caused by force majeures?
In general, what we can do is we need to make sure. Force majeure is technically by possibly force of nature, so possibly wind speed, storm. So I think here in the Philippines we have a standard to follow. So that standards needs to be followed. However, there are some items that also need to factor out for the warranty. Even if, let's say, for example, even if you design the mounting system correctly, and there are some misinstallations on part of it, so you need to factor all of that. However, they need with Clenergy, as long as it's beyond our warranty, then I think we are very, very willing to support our client on that.
Okay, that's very good to hear.
And in addition, at the end of the day, it's all about education and training, right? So people like, say Micah, like yourself, you're providing these kind of platforms to provide education to the various installers out there. We as well organize our own webinars for our clients. So whenever we have people who come on board, they receive that training to, further kind of, to mitigate these kind of risks.
Awesome. Well, it's been lovely having both Samir and Rafael share your expertise and on the product lines of Clenergy and the PV EzTracker that has to offer. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your very busy schedule, especially Samir. I think it's almost 7 p.m. in Melbourne. So we're really happy to have you guys here.
Thank you so much for inviting us. Yeah.
Really appreciate your time. Glad to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Stay safe.